Hey, what up, world? You have tuned into the BL Glover Show. It's Friday, 7 p.m. And we usually start the show off with a little snippet of We're Greater Than Our Limitations. So I'm going to go ahead and spit that for you. We're greater than our limitations. They say we can't do what they head turn. Faith is what we need, not a lot, a little bit more than the mustard seed. We're greater than our limitations. They say we can't do what they head turn. Faith is what we need, not a lot, a little bit more than the mustard seed. Now one can move a molehill, two can move a mountain. Hey, one can move 10, two can move 10,000. They owe us reparations for slavery in this nation. We got to stand up. God promised us He'll never leave or forsake us. We're greater than our limitations. Hey, what up, America? It's your boy, Busta Glover. You just tuned into the BL Glover Show. ESPM, entertainment, sports, politics, and money. So we're going to get right into it. Let me move this mic out the way. We're going to get right into the entertainment. So this week, we still don't know who the president is, but we do got time in the B block. And the A block is sponsored by A Better Black America TV on YouTube. So make sure you go ahead and log in, you subscribe, and you hit that like button, and you hit those notifications. See, I'm learning the game a little bit. So now in entertainment, man, let's go ahead and just break this down. I'll chop it up with you today because we still don't know who the president is, but it's all good. So entertainment, man. Now, the entertainment aspect of it, I've been got caught in the web this week, and I've been vibing to Busta Rhymes, and I've been vibing to Busta Rhymes album, and looks like Generation X is next. And when I say looks like Generation X is next, because Nas dropped an album in the fourth quarter, Busta Rhymes just dropped an album, and it's doing very, very well, if I should say. And the reason I'm bringing up Busta Rhymes today is listen to his music, and I actually saw where he responded or kind of clowned T.I. a little bit. And when I say clown T.I., I mean clown T.I. Because apparently they're doing the verses. They got the verses on Instagram. And the Instagram verses, sometimes they're competitive, but they're not. And when I say competitive, but they're not, when I saw Snoop and who was that? DMX. Now, you could tell Snoop is still polished. You could still tell Snoop still tours. You could tell Snoop is still the SNOPP, the dog, okay? The man. And his verses, that was, I like that. But you could tell that DMX was not prepped or doesn't still perform or anything, because it looked like, to me personally, like he was lip syncing, and made a joke, looked like Mike Tyson lip singing in Hangover 1. A little chubby there for DMX. You can get no older than age, no disrespect. But then I saw Rick Ross, and I don't even like calling him Rick Ross because, we from the West Coast, we know who the real Freeway Ricky Ross is. But Rick Ross and 2 Chainz. Now, Rick Ross took it for real, took it serious. And I'm looking at 2 Chainz. Looked like 2 Chainz just agreed to do the verses because, they would play his songs. He would just dance around. But when they put Rick Ross songs in there, he was performing like it was a concert. So, around the verses, people been throwing all types of names. Bobby Blue Bland versus Johnny Guitar Watson, just in jokingly. But when I saw Busta Rhymes speaking on T.I. about the verses, it blew my mind because T.I., he ran away from the fade. When I say ran away from the fade, T.I. said it himself. He said he gave him LL Cool J number. He didn't want none of that smoke. And that was the funniest thing ever because Busta Rhymes is a rapper, okay? And he was on Fat Joe's podcast. And Fat Joe kind of set the premise up a little bit by talking about how the rappers from the South have issues with the New York rappers. And there's a big difference between New York rappers and Southern rappers. And there's a big difference between New York rappers and other rappers, because New York rappers, I'm talking about Generation X, the Nas's, the Jay-Z's, the Busta Rhymes, they rap. These are lyricists, okay, with a background, meaning it's in them, not on them. So, rapper versus song maker. Young Thug makes songs. He's not a good rapper, but he makes songs, and sometimes he'll, but the beat be banging. So it's a difference between making music or making a song versus rapping and making hits and being legendary, because Busta Rhymes is one of the greatest to ever do it. And I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, because I thought about it. I'm like, wait a minute, Busta Rhymes, you're not that guy. But he went in on T.I. to pull his man card. I mean, he even got on him when start going through videos and showing T.I. in a suit, and he was like, no matter what you look like, nigga, you look like you're going to court. And I mean, and they clown it. And I'm sitting back like, why they doing this to T.I.? And then Busta Rhymes even made it clear, like he's about to smoke. You know, he was talking about that's what he do, and he's still doing it, and he got an album right now that's banging. And Busta Rhymes went on record and said he's taking all names, which is pretty admirable, because when you talk about the verses, you don't see the competition like I aforementioned. When I talked about Snoop and DMX, it really wasn't a competition. It was, like an OG versus, what once was OG. And when I saw the 2 Chainz, he was just there with his girl, but Rick Ross was ready to do his thing. Patti LaBelle and whoever she went with it really wasn't competitive, but Busta Rhymes is taking it to a whole nother level. He said he will bust T.I.'s derriere. And I was sitting there like, wait, okay. And then he said, don't nobody want to smoke with me. So he said he's calling out all names, and he'll even be willing to do 2 artists at a time. And he said Swizz Beatz and Timberland. What y'all think about that? And I was like, wow. But then in my mind, I'm like, wait a minute. And I start thinking about Busta Rhymes' hits and how long he's been around, from a conscious rapper, leader of the new schools, and just who this brother is. And those hits, when I talk about hits with Janet Jackson at her prime, when I talk about hits with Mariah Carey at her time, when I'm talking about club bangers, Pass a Cavassier, hoo-ah, got y'all in check. Busta Rhymes is a man. So we're going to keep abreast to these verses and see if we can, motivate them to turn up the competitiveness, because rapping or being a rapper is very competitive. Competitive to the point where they actually compete to actually sign record artists, and they even profit off of the arresting of officers. Because I also saw an interview this week as well with Crazy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony, and he was giving some stories about when he was in the industry with Bone Thugs and Harmony, how the record label was motivating him to do the gangster rap, and how the phasing out of the conscious rappers came because he blew the whistle and threw the record execs under the bus by their investing in the private prisons. So they're motivating rappers to talk about lean, Molly, drugs, killing, and then they're investing in prison. So when you die, they profit. When you go to jail, they profit. Because I remember when Bobby Shmurda already had a case, needed to get signed with Atlantic Records to actually continue the case, jumping all over the tables in the boardroom just to be locked up in jail right now. And that was Bobby Shmurda. But go ahead, I see you. What did you look up, Rashid?
I looked up who Patti LaBelle faced up in the verses. It was Gladys.
See, friendly competition. But Busta Rhymes, man, he calling out names, and like I said, he's banging on them. So I would love to see something happen like that. But in terms of the private prisons and the entertainment and the rap music, we're going to communicating. We're going to expose what's going on. But like I said, this thing is like Voltron. Look like it's going to break off into 4 different things, because entertainment, we could go on and on about that, but we got entertainment, sports, politics, and money. So entertainment wise, we're going to revisit these little things that we talk about. I watched the videos, and I thank y'all for for supporting because the numbers are looking pretty good. The whole key is to stay consistent. So, but with the entertainment aspect of it, I'm loving the music right now. Generation X is next and is on deck, and hopefully, we can kind of talk to the rappers and get them to be a part of what we got going on, because they are our mouthpieces in our culture. Because I know what I shall have a doubt, if it was different ways to make $1 million, a lot of these brothers would be millionaires outside of the music industries. But since we can get $100 or $1 million doing music, that's what they do. But the sad thing about it, I'm gonna go ahead and close out the sports block, but what Crazy Bone was talking about is when rappers or blacks become moguls, it's like we repeat the cycle. Because I remember hearing Michael Bivins tell Boys to Men or BBD, whoever he had, did you read your contract? And I know Puffy, Craig Mack, I don't know y'all remember him, but he was right there with Biggie. Did you read your contract type stuff? So we cannot be, doing the same things that the adversaries do. But in terms of moving on to the B block, entertainment, sports, politics, and money, we're going to go ahead and transfer into entertainment, sports. We're going to go ahead and go into sports. Let me get a hand clap for the A block. And once again, the B block, entertainment, sports, politics, and money, is sponsored by A Better Black America TV on YouTube. So make sure you go, if you're watching, subscribe, hit the like, and go ahead and comment so I can know what's going on with you. But sports-wise, it's a lot going on athletically or sports-wise with the NBA, NFL. Well, I'm not going to say the NBA. They just finished out with the championships, and baseball. So you got LA World Champions 2020 Dodgers, LA World Champions Los Angeles Lakers 2020. A lot of the games are being canceled right now. So collegiately, professionally, you'll be sitting at home, might find a game on Tuesday, Wednesday, because they're got the coronavirus stuff going on. So they're going to have to figure this thing out. But sports-wise, now I have to bring this brother up because a few years ago, a lot of people thought he was crazy. Now, LeVar Ball is not crazy. I've been looking at mock draft boards. I've looked at all of the big ones. And his son was at Melo Ball is the projected, you may hand clap for that, as the projected #1 player to go in the draft. So he wasn't crazy, because when he was saying Lonzo, LaMelo, and his other son would be on the same team, the middle child got caught up. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So he could still get on the squad. But speaking on having 3 of these siblings on the same team is really not out the question, especially if they could get through free agency and continue on, then they can actually do what they want to do. Because if you look at LeBron James with Clutch Sports, they pretty much putting teams together and having draft tryouts themselves. We'll go ahead, Rasheed.
I mean, it'd be kind of hard to do that because since LaMelo would be a projected a #1 draft pick, I forget who has the #1 pick. Hold on.
Yeah. No, we gonna give them the facts.
Because I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be the Pelicans.
No, it's not. Well, I'm not saying right now. Wherever he goes right now, I'm saying after he finishes out his contract, after he get through the rookie contract and when he is able to actually call his own shots. Like, not right now. Whoever drafted him, he has no choice but to be right there and play the 2-3 years, whatever he signs with. But who has the first draft or the first pick?
It's the Hornets.
Oh, Charlotte Hornets. Okay. And that's Michael Jordan, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to say this because Michael Jordan got a history of messing up draft picks. Please don't trade to pick Michael Jordan. Pick LaMelo Ball. Don't go get no Kwame Browns or some people that, who we think your son trying to get up in the, in the NBA. Because one of his first drafts, he picked Kwame Brown as a #1 pick. And he kind of looked like Jordan. So we were thinking that the reason he picked Kwame Brown because that was a bastard child of his. That's what we was thinking. But the way he panned out, hopefully Jordan is not in the room when they're making the decisions on players to pick, because he's just because you're a businessman don't make you a good picker of talent. Okay. So, but sports-wise, we got the college football going on, but before I left the house, I was watching Sports Center. There was a lot of games canceled, so we're not going to talk too much about that. But in the sports block, Melo Ball, Lonzo Ball, the big baller brand, the Pops, LeVar Ball, like I said, to have 3 kids and to have 2 of them go top 5 in NBA draft, that's gangster. I mean, it's they say only 1% make it and 2% are successful in life. So just to throw a curveball in there, this is when they say 2% of people are successful. It's like when you talk to people and you try to tell them an ideal or a concept and they basically go negative on you. How you gonna do that? Don't get offended because they're playing the odds, because 98% of people really don't do what they claim to do or follow up. So, it's time to be intentional, get with a good team, get around people, that's congratulators, focus more on your soul, your spirit, pray a little more, because moving forward, what God has called us all to do, there's some genius in all of us, but our purpose is to manifest that, and hopefully I could do something to help you figure out you're an eagle and not a pigeon. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm looking at the actual draft prospects within this draft. He's not even in the top 10.
LaMelo?
Yeah, he's not even in the top 10.
Is that ESPN? What is that?
This is CBS Sports.
Okay, look at ESPN, because that's what I was watching today.
Okay, let me look up ESPN.
So find the mock draft board where that boy going number 1, if you can.
And none of them.
No, I got you.
Because I looked at 2 separate ones, and they've had this Chad Cunningham.
And that's Okay, now look at the date on that. Is it this week, or is it when the camps opened up? Because LeBron James had a personal workout for that guy at Clutch Sports. All the NBA players was there, and it's crazy how LeBron James can have a sports facility, a sports program, and he's a part of the process. So that's gangster what he's doing. So he's not going to just shut up and dribble.
Oh, that's right. The number 1 is the Minnesota Timberwolves, and top. Okay, according to
give me the top 10. Go ahead.
Let's see. We got a tier 1. We got LaMelo.
Okay, hold up. LaMelo, where LaMelo at?
He's a tier 1.
Tier 1, meaning they projected if they don't want him, they can move to the next guy. But he's going to be top 3. But go ahead. Go do the top 10.
Let me see. So according to ESPN, number 1 is LaMelo Ball.
Okay.
Number 2 is Anthony Edwards.
That's the guy. What's his demographic? How tall is he?
He is 6'3", 225, out of Georgia.
And when I talk about hops and athletic ability, reminds me of a Harold Miner. You're probably too young for that guy, but he's the business. But go ahead.
Number 3, James Wiseman.
Okay.
Number 4, Mandini Avdiha from Israel.
Okay. What college did he go to? College, or he just coming from Israel?
He's coming from overseas.
Okay.
Number 5, we got Onyeka Angwangwa.
Hey, your guess is good as mine. Where he from? Senegal?
He's playing from SC.
USC? Oh, okay, yeah. One of those. SC got an African connection. They always have somebody straight from home.
6'9", 245.
Okay, probably my new bowl cousin or something.
And then Obi Toppin, number 6.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Isaac Okoro, number 7. Tyrese Halliburton, number 8. Patrick Williams, number 9. And Killian Hayes, number 10 from France.
Gotcha. And that's crazy because these announcers are going to have a hard time pronouncing these guys' names. But you got the NBA coming up, and I believe the season will be starting somewhere around Christmas. But entertainment, sports, politics, and money. So we got to talk about politics. And I know that's not a topic of discussion that we really want to talk about right now, but we're not going to talk too much about what's really going on because the rabbit hole gets deep. And when I say the rabbit hole gets deep, because last week we talked about harvesting the ballots, which is not illegal. And this morning I saw an interview with the political editor for the Wall Street Journal. And I got a sound bite. I'm figuring this thing out. I got a sound bite of her comment. So hopefully she watched my video. But okay, let me just go ahead and say this. A lot of people ask me, you know, where do you get your information from? How do you know this? How do you know that? So basically, I do and look at the same information that we all look at. I bring it up in theory, you know, and process the information. And then if it makes sense in theory, I share it. So they say never say never, but it's hard for me to speak on something that I haven't really dug into. So when I was talking about the harvesting of the ballots from a political strategist perspective, I was just thinking like what happened? If this was a movie, how did the Democrats beat Trump after the Trump administration got 7 million more votes and they still lost? Because if I was a political strategist firm and the Trump administration wanted my services, and I said, one thing I can do, sir, I could guarantee you will get 7 million more votes, and I guarantee you they would have signed on to that and they would have broke bread. So, but let me go ahead and play the soundbite, because from my political strategist perspective, from doing a preliminary investigation, I was basically saying the Divine Nine, Stacey Abrams, you know, they figured out a way to win the election, and they won the election. So this is the soundbite that I'm playing as a reaction to the comments that I made about the harvesting of the ballots.
My point here is that this is actually, you got to look at this in the broader context of fight that's been going
This
on
Wall
a
Street
long
Journal
time, in
editor.
which Republicans have cared very much about ballot integrity with things like voter identification laws. Democrats have worked very hard to water down a lot of voting rules, and that really hit a crest early last year when Nancy
Chestnut
Pelosi
checkers.
put forward as her party's
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
an election reform bill.
They did that.
Demanded all these things like same-day voter registration, online voter registration, mass mail balloting, and lots of other things designed, and basically signed off on ballot harvesting, which is where paid operatives go and collect ballots. So.
Okay, paid operatives. It's not illegal. So one thing that I know that they need to do is, with the reforms, they're gonna have to do something about that. In my mind, a quick fix is, if you cannot physically make it to the voting booth yourself, then you're bad. Go ahead. I see you got a comment. Go ahead.
But hold on. But you have to take into account the situation that we are in right now.
Yeah.
We are in a pandemic where literally being in person voting is very risky.
I agree. So it's like this. What a perfect time. They call that the perfect storm. Okay, because for the last 3 years, I've been talking about this, a better Black America. Like I said, I've driven over 4,000 rides, and I call it the Chitlin Circuit. What I'm talking and talking and talking. And then this last year, I was forced, to pull a muzzle on my mouth. So just for shutting me up, I had a problem with that. And I looked at the big picture and I was like, okay, hold up, something's going on. And then you can rally, you could protest, you can go to a victory party, you could go to a football game, but you can't go to church. So what I'm saying is, this is bigger than Nino Brown. I mean, what's on the surface, what it looks like sometimes is not what it is. What we saw was in my mind, was one of the best moves ever made in voting history. Because that Divine Nine, that thing is real. Because if you look at where they're recounting the ballots right now, if you look at the Detroit area, the Atlanta area in the suburbs, the Philadelphia area, the suburbs, Pittsburgh, the suburbs, clearly the communities, I would say the Black communities, made the difference, clearly. And this is the part where me as a man see the loophole, just like they had the perfect storm. So have you heard of the term, we was considered 3/5 human?
Yeah.
Okay. So since we 3/5 human, I created a rule called the 3/5 rule. Now, I haven't seen this anywhere else. How you know? This is me just thinking. I don't know if it exists, but this is a rule that I personally came up with. The 3/5 rule. So instead of looking at us as 3/5 human, which they did, we're going to utilize their 3/5 rule. So Donald John Trump, he's a betting man. He's a gambling man, and he's known to double down. So metaphorically, I don't play poker, but I understand it. So this was a game of poker right here. So look at Biden at a poker table, and
Biden has a straight face. Trump is just trying to, call all types of bluffs.
okay, but check this out though. Remember I said I don't talk about stuff unless I think about it, right? So check this out. So Biden, with his 75, 78 million votes right now, I think next door they're doing something. That's what we hear. And there's nothing we could do about it. Okay, there's nothing we could do about it. They're taking the sign off, so next week could be the week. But Biden, with his 74 million votes, 75, I don't know what it is.
It's 78,114,019.
Okay, so Biden said, okay, I'm all in. It's set back. So bear with us. We got some construction going on, but we're going to push through this. So Biden basically, this is a poker table. Biden went all in. He sat back. Right? So when Biden put his 7 whatever Rashid just said, he put those votes in there. Biden looked back and said, you know what? I got this game. Okay? What's the best poker thing you can have? A full house?
Yeah. It's a king, queen, jack, 10, and an ace.
Okay, so Biden, under the assumption, has a full house with 7 point something million votes, right? So Biden sat back. Boom, I'm gonna put all the money in. And then he looked at Trump, thinking Trump would do what Gore did, because I wanted to speak on it and I watched replay from last week. I didn't get to say it. Gore is a career politician. So after 2 or 3 non-findings in that election that we spoke on, that took a few weeks to with Gore and Bush, Gore basically conceded because he's a politician. That's what you do. Okay, but right now Trump sat back and said, you know what? You think you got a full house? You don't see my cards. What Trump do? Trump said he know Nipsey Hussle. And if Nipsey Hussle was alive, he would vote for him. Why? Because Trump said, hey, I'm all money in too, and sat back. So right now we looking at a poker game where it's 2 full houses on the board, and that's literally impossible. So right now they got to figure out, how did this happen? But when they talk about democracy, that's why they say it's not worth it. Because even if they find something, could you imagine how in shambles our democracy would look if there was some type of thing going on? And this is the troubling part of it, because we're not dealing with a regular politician. This man doubled down and sat back, and he looks for loopholes, and he's smart. If the president of the United States don't concede, and this is why Van Jones was crying. Did you see that video? Van Jones was crying. Yeah. This is why he was crying, because there's a loophole in the Constitution that's always been known, but nobody would dare to do it, but Donald Trump would. So we got to watch this. If a sitting president does not concede a vote, it goes to each state delegates. So the delegates for each state will declare who our president is if he doesn't concede. And that's the loophole. Yeah. So before we get into it, I want you next to do you some homework. Look it up, because that Constitution is, like I said, it's it could get real crazy. But when I brought up the 3/5, okay, I like to set things up. So the 3/5 rule, okay. We was considered 3/5 human because we was property to the Democratic South. So let's take that 3/5 rule and apply it today. So when we look at this presidential election, you have 7+ million people voted for Joe Biden. You have 7+ million people voted for Donald J. Trump. And myself, as a write-in candidate, Kanye West with the vice president at the independent, party, got 60,000 votes in one of the states. Joe Jurgensen, the third party option. So the Democrats like to say, a no vote for Joe Biden is a vote for Trump. So if you take all the no votes and go off of the Democrats' talking point or what they say, if you don't vote for Joe Biden, you voted for Donald Trump. Donald Trump is in the 80s of the millions. So clearly 88 million people, 8 million. So clearly 8 million people is against socialism, against communism, against Green New Deals or anything else. So this is why it's going to be something that we've never seen before, because he has power. He's changed the face of the Democratic Party. He has the Democratic Party. He changed the face of the Republican Party, but he's changed the face of the Democratic Party because they lost all the seats that they was expecting to get. They have a small majority in Congress, and they don't have the majority in the Senate. So that's what the lame duck thing come in at. But Donald Trump he's not typical. And to take it even higher, this one here is for the conspiracy theorists, to take it even higher. So Donald Trump has access to information that that nobody has but a sitting president. And I'm sure if Donald Trump wanted to find out who actually, let me take a look at the original deed of the White House. Could you imagine if Donald Trump found a loophole and put a lien on the White House and they get him to remove from office and he not going nowhere because he understand, habeas corpus, whatever that domain or dominion laws that you could have for public property. So like I said, this thing it's 3 weeks in. We was expecting to talk about 2 weeks ago who the president of the United States is. Now it's the third week and no one has been declared. So to me, there's no there. To me, they got outwitted. And what I'm looking at, they just want to find out what happened. Because like I said, it's not illegal. I've seen videos of Omar, the one of the freshman Congress people's family member, who was all on the internet showing ballots and getting paid for those ballots. But if it goes down and Donald Trump has to concede, I don't think he's going to go anywhere. But if he come back in 2024, we got a plan. And if they're paying for them to harvest ballots, our ballots are going to be worth $1.5 million. And we're going to get that bread before the election. But go ahead. I see you got something on the tip of your tongue.
Okay, so I'm looking into this. I'm basically president election on Constitution White House. What would happen if Trump doesn't leave come January 2021?
That's crazy, right?
Come January on Inauguration Day. Says.
What's the source, though? Give us the source.
This is businessinsider.com.
Gotcha. Okay.
At the moment, it is unclear who would have to manage such a nightmare scenario on Inauguration Day. Possible players include the newly elected president and the Secret Service. If a losing president still occupies the White House after his term expires in late January, the newly elected president will likely have the power to direct the Secret Service to remove that individual from the premises, since any federal agents will no longer report to the old president, even though former presidents retain a Secret Service detail
for the rest of their life.
They are private citizens after their terms end and will no longer have presidential powers.
Okay.
And then there was also something about there's a scenario where if this was at least within like the 1%, this would end up going in. This would be up to Congress at that point if it was like more than it was less than 1%.
Right.
But the way that the race was looking, it's more than 1%.
Way more. Yeah. It's almost 10. I mean, he killing them in the national election, and Nevada, Arizona. I guess they declared Trump the winner of North Carolina, but
Yeah, because he's at 232. So it's by more than 4%.
Right. But we're dealing with a 1%er.
And then currently in the Senate, the Republicans have 50 to the Democrats 48.
Yeah, they got the majority.
They need 51 to actually have complete control.
And they have two runoffs for those 2 seats. And if they could split it, then they got the majority. If they lose one, then the deal breaker will go to the vice president.
Right,
Melo Harris. Right. So the crazy thing about it for me is you have 7+ million voted for Trump. That means that 7+ million voted against Biden and the Democrats. So getting back to the 3/5 rule.
Oh, okay. So
go ahead.
In the event of a dispute over some aspect of the election,
Come on.
By law,
Come on.
U.S. courts and the U.S. Congress are required to resolve any disputes, not the U.S. military.
Yeah.
We will not turn our backs on the Constitution of the United States.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It could get real thick. So this is why you have Rubio and Cruz and all these people in Georgia right now, because those seats are so vital, because the United States, the balance of the United States is in the runoffs for the power, because that's why checks and balances are in effect. Because when people talk about, oh, he's a dictator, no, you got Congress, the House and the Senate. So there's no way this could be a dictatorship. It is what you call checks and balances, because they check and balance out what's going on. The only thing the president could do is sign an executive order or veto something, but that's rare. He signs executive orders, but it's rare that he vetoes anything which he has the power to do so.
Right, because the power of the president is just more or less to just check on whether or not laws are passed.
Got the pen.
But the actual power is in the legislative branch, which is in Congress, which is the House and Senate.
Right.
And then you had the judicial branch, the actual
Supreme Court,
which makes rulings on laws that can be
so that's why
that can be classified as constitutional or unconstitutional.
So think about chestnut checkers. Why do you think the Trump administration got this person confirmed so fast? You see what I'm saying? They setting it up. So they got the right people in place when it comes to Congress. And if they win those 2 runoffs,
I'm not even sure if she's like she's official. In fact, when she's the
who that?
Hold on, let me ask
the Ginsburg. I mean, Barrett.
Yeah,
she confirmed.
Oh,
she was confirmed. See, what I'm saying is why we having riots and arguing and all of that stuff. They don't stop. She got confirmed, and then you have the big tech giants. They had to talk to the Senate in terms of the big tech, Facebook.
Oh yeah,
Facebook, Twitter. They was in some hot water, and a lot of people didn't know nothing about that because they didn't show that as well. But go ahead.
Okay, so she was nominated by President Donald Trump and has served since October 27th.
She was confirmed. It's November. That's what I'm saying. So it's chess, not checkers. So we don't know what's going on. But like I said, this sets the premise up perfectly for me to get this 3/5 rule out, because I got to get this 3/5 rule out. So now, since they considered us 3/5 human, let's do this 3/5 rule. And this is a rule that we're going to be talking about, because clearly,
which was technically, according to here, was a 3/5 compromise agreement between delegates from the North and the Southern states. The United States Constitutional Convention, that 3/5 of the slave population would be counted for determining direct taxation and representation.
Hold up, direct taxation and representation, meaning we was property, like a cow.
Yes.
We wasn't even human.
Correct.
3/5. So let's use their same 3/5 compromise and make it a 3/5 rule. I just mentioned that 7+ million people voted for Donald Trump. I just mentioned that 7.5 million plus people voted for Joe Biden. Okay, so let's go ahead and round it down to a 50-50 split. black people, as a block vote from a majority perspective, voted for Joe Biden. So the 3/5 rule, you have 50% of whites. So you got 2 on the left and 2 on the right. So who's the difference maker? Who sits in the middle and can swing each election in this 3/5 rule? Not the 3/5 compromise, the 3/5 rule.
Would be African.
There it is. So this is why Exodus 2020, this is why our independence, only because if you think about it, based on the 3/5 rule, if you have 4 white people and 1 black, 2 are for Biden and 2 are for Trump. And as the eyeball, as the black, you cannot support either side because they will flip and turn on you. Because what I'm seeing right now, if you haven't looked at the 5th episode, go ahead and check it out, because we talked about the Divine Nine. We talk about Black Lives Matters, Black Lives Matters leadership. Can you pull up the founders of Black Lives Matters? Because right now they're trying to get a meeting with Joe Biden, okay? Because what black women did, Stacey Abrams, the Black Lives Matters movement, what they did, they deserve to be commemorated for that. And at least they need something out the deal, but go ahead.
Alicia Garza, Opal Tometi, and Patrice Coulter.
Now, Patrice, she's the one that kind of messed up a little bit when she said that they're trained in Marxism. And she really didn't mean that. She, they supporters of Bernie Sanders. Okay, Karl Marx, socialism. No, we've all studied that. But when she said it and the way she said it, it scared America. And that directly connected her with Antifa and made them look like domestic terrorists. But their hearts are so pure that they kind of got put in a little situation. But if you look at the work that they put in to get this president elected, then you have to consider them for cabinet positions. Now, what you pulled up now, does it show their background or education or anything like that? Because I'm trying to see if any of those could fit on a presidential cabinet, because they deserve something, because the black women pretty much run the minority brand of the Democratic Party, and it's in the name of Black Lives Matters.
Let me see.
Yeah, because in terms of the education aspect, the reason I'm saying this because I believe there's Joe Biden's meeting with cabinet positions, and they need to at least be considered.
Let's see. Artist, just Patrice Coulter, artist, author, educator, political strategist.
Okay. So we'll put it, let's earmark that, and we'll talk about it next week, because the one that I was thinking about was the one that's from the Bay Area, the biracial female. Because when you get a biracial female talking about blackness, that's scary. And she's a descendant of the Black Power movement.
That would be Alicia Garza from Oakland.
Come on.
California.
So what I'm saying is cabinet positions. So the black men, we're exiting the 2-party system. We clearly, out of the 2-party system, because that 3/5 rule, we're going to hold our single vote ransom and let the 2 parties kind of fight it out and see if they can actually compete for a vote, because this is going to be a lame duck situation. We don't know how far it's going to go. But if President Trump does concede, he has so much power to influence and to control and to set himself up perfectly for 2024.
Okay, so she graduated with a degree in 2002 with a degree in anthropology and sociology.
Okay, sociology. Does she have a master's degree or?
Doesn't say.
Okay, social studies, sociology. Okay. So it doesn't matter, because, like I said, they can make decisions, because Jesse Jackson was a shadow senator and a presidential candidate, and they just nominated. So what I'm saying is, black women, do not let them get away with this, because Stacey Abrams, the Divine Nine, Black Lives Matters movement pretty much won this election. So once all the formalities fall away, then we'll figure it out. And I think the president will do the right thing. And a friend of mine or a family member played the snippet. What's the white guy? The white actor. Can't think of his name, but he got a video and he was talking about you blanking lost, count it again, do it again, you lost. What's his name?
Oh, Michael Rappaport?
Yeah, pull that up, play that for the people.
Okay, hold on,
Yeah, so while we looking that up, I'm basically saying this is a mass exodus, and we're going to keep pushing. We know we're not going to stop. Okay, we are not going to stop. So entertainment, sports, politics, and money. So time goes fast when you're having fun. So I'm gonna go ahead and just speak just a little bit before I move on. I'm gonna let my man play this video, and this is pretty much the consensus of how we all feel. And it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, the 3/5 rule is going to be in full play, and our vote is going to matter. Okay, our vote matters. Go ahead.
Good. I say recount, stop the count, count it again. Okay, then triple count it. It's over, fucko. You lost. You fucking lost. The fucking ghost of John McCain.
Yeah.
You,
yeah.
right in
Yeah.
your
Arizona. Yeah.
Fucking ass in Arizona.
Yeah.
Good, you fucking asshole.
'Cause
your
he-
big fucking mouth came back to fuck you. Okay.
Hey, okay. Too many F-bombs, man. We got to give him a hand clap for Michael Rappaport. Go ahead and clap it up for him. Because that's pretty much the consensus. So, we're going to get down to the bottom of it. But time flies. We have fun. Entertainment, sports, politics, and money. So, in the money block, if you guys did not capitalize off of the retail industry or the retail market, and when I say this, I mean the Olive Garden, the Cheesecake Factory, the Red Lobsters, the BJ's, these companies, the hotel industry, the gaming industry, cruise lines, Carnival, Norwegian, who else? MGM, Caesars. If you guys did not capitalize off it, when I was doing my walks, I shared some information, and those stocks have been so good that we've been able to dip in, dip out, dip in and dip out, and dip back in, because there's still profit margins. And if we do another shutdown, we're going to have to figure out and follow the money. So entertainment, sports, politics, and money. So time flies when you're having fun. This is the BL Glover Show, Accelerated Radio, all your streaming services, the whole nine. So with that being said, man, we're going to go ahead and close out. And I like to close out with my jam, man, Limitations, man. We're greater than our limitations. They say we can't do it, they hate. They hate. Faith is what we need, not a lot, a little bit more than the mustard seed. We're greater than our limitations. They say we can't do it, they hate. They hate. Faith is what we need, not a lot, a little bit more than the mustard seed. Now one can move a molehill, two can move a mountain. Hey, one can move 10, two can move 10,000. They owe us reparations for slavery in this nation. We got to stand up. God promised us He'll never leave or forsake us. We're greater than our limitations. We're greater than our limitations. Another episode of the BL Glover Show. So, the whole show is sponsored by Better Black America TV. So make sure you go, if you haven't, subscribe, hit that notification, hit those likes. Hey, chopping wood, y'all. We'll be back next week, same back station, same back time. And like I said, you can find the BL Glover Show on all your streaming services. With that being said, man, y'all have a good day. It's your boy, Bushan Glover. And thank you for tuning in to the BL Glover Show.